Today is another day we are going to have another discussion about AUTOCOIDS, and previously we talked about AUTOCOIDS, and we discussed about AUTOCOIDS in the class of histamine, and we saw the histamine production, we saw the how they are produced with the mass of use, eosinophils, mast cells. Then we saw their functions, we saw how they can be, what can cause if they are very excess, and we saw what they can cause if they are minimal. We saw the drugs associated with the antihistamine. So today the next topic is about the second class of drugs in the family of autocoins, and this is the class of serotonin. And serotonin are abbreviated as 5-HT. It's another class of autocoins classified as 5-HT. So that is our today's brief discussion. So today's brief discussion about autocoins. So what is autocoins? These are amines neurotransmitters. They are chemically derived from tryptophan, which is amino acids. And approximately 90% of human body total serotonin is located in the endorphin cells in the alimentary canal, and they are used for the purpose of regulating intestinal movement, peristalsis in that case. Now, the remaining part is synthesized in the serotonic neurons of the CNS, where it has various functions, including the regulation of the mood and appetite and sleep. So at that point, you can see that it is regulating the intestinal movement and at the same time appetite. Means what? Food absorption in the body. So the other one is serotonin is excreted from the endorphin cells, eventually find its way into the blood tissue in the blood. There it is actively taken up by blood platelets, which store it. It is stored in the platelets. So when platelets went to a clotting, they release a serotonin, where it serves as a vasoconstrictor and helps to regulate homeostasis and the blood clotting factor. So you can see that the serotonin is very important. It is produced in the enterochromin cells in the GIT. Some part of it goes to the stream at the blood, bind the platelets, and the platelets, in case there is a bleeding, it assists to bring the clotting and return the situation to normal. So serotonin importance, they have one major importance in the body. There is a brain to brain barrier as well, like they motivate vasoconstriction, and you have seen that one in the when they are bound to the plasma, and the plasma is affected. That is how they motivate the vasoconstriction. It also motivates anger. It motivates aggression. It motivates blood temperature. It motivates moods. It motivates sex. It motivates sex. Sleep, it also moderate appetite and stimulate vomit reflex and memory and running. In nature, where do we get the serotonin from? It is found in abundantly in the gut and the plasma cells, but it can also but it cannot enter the brain. It cannot enter the brain. So it is found in the GIT. It is found also in the plasma cells, specifically the platelets. So meat, bananas are the direct cause of serotonin in our setup. Main source is L-triptophan and amino acids, which is found in proteins. So it is a source. It is a protein in nature. For example, meats, eggs, milk, fish, and pulses. So you need enough calcium, magnesium, oxygen for you to produce enough serotonin. So your body requires enough those elements, those three elements for the purpose of production of enough serotonin in the body. So also vitamin B6, which is pyridoxine, is very important in the production of serotonin. So what happens when you have excessive levels of serotonin? Excessive level of serotonin can cause something called compulsive disorder, like compulsive hand washing disorder. Compulsive hand washing disorder can cause pulmonary vasoconstriction, causing acute and chronic pulmonary hypertension, and also it can cause something like asthma because of the constriction of the respiratory system. So it can cause cardiac paralysis, it can cause cardiac paralysis, and this one can lead to something called cardiomyopathy. It can lead to something called cardiomyopathy, and sometimes it can also affect blood vessels supplying the coronary artery disease. To some extent, also it can be associated with what? It can be associated with coronary artery diseases. So in low levels of serotonin, there is irritability, irrational emotions, sudden and unexplained tears, sleep disturbances, depression, and suicidal tendencies. So when we have enough serotonin, we have emotional stability in ourselves, and it increases aggression, and the sleep cycles becomes normal, and also it controls appetite. It controls appetite. So serotonin is synthesized from the amino acid tryptophan by assorted metabolic pathways consisting of two enzymes. The two enzymes, the tryptophan hydrolase and the amino acid the carbonase. Those are the two pathways the synthesis of serotonin from amino acid tryptophan. Those are the two ways. So if you have to block it, you have to block these two pathways. The drug which has to block that pathways is the best drug for you to stop to treat serotonin effect in case of high production. So there are various receptors. These are seven in our body. The receptors are divided in seven. There is 5-HT1. That is 1 to 5. And also there is 5-HT. The other one is 5-HT1E, 5-HTF, and 5-HTD. Those are the other ones in our body. So the subtype 5-HT1 groups consist of 5 receptors, that is 5-HT1A, 5-HTB, and 5-HT1D, and 5-HT1A, and 5-HT1F. And 5-HT1A receptors are the most extensively distributed of all 5-HT of all serotonin. Those are the most commonly distributed in our body. So in CNS, these receptors are present in high density in the cerebral cortex and rapid nucleus. It involved in inhibition of discharge from neurons, regulation of production of behavior and eating, and plays an important role in emergency and anxiety. Agonist is, for example, buspirone, amphetamine, and eribine are the most agonist of 5-HT1 receptors type of serotonin. So then the antagonist is alpendro and quinol and the propranolol. Those are basically the beta blockers, either selective or not selective, the antagonist of this serotonin in the class of 5-HT1 receptors, which is very prominent in our brain. So we have serotonin 1B receptors. Serotonin 1B receptors, they are present in the CNS where they induce a presynaptic inhibition and a behavior effect. And they exhibit a vascular effect as well as pulmonary vasoconstriction, so they can cause difficulty in breathing, or some we call it pulmonary hypertension. You can also and sometimes it can also result to something called a pulmonary. If the prelude, then there is manifestations in the heart, like heart failure, then that one you can call it pulmonary, but that is at the advanced areas. So agonist is like, for example, ergotamine, ergotamine and zolimitriptan, and antagonist is eribine, propranolol, and quinol are the one which are 5-HT1 or serotonin 1B receptors and antagonist, and the other one is the agonist. So 5-HT1D, that is serotonin 1D, involved in the regulator of memory, and 5-HT1F as a possible in vascular contraction, and the distribution in brain appears limited because you don't need vasoconstriction in the brain so that the brain does not run blood. So even the body itself was very wise when all this. Now, let us see these receptors, their effects, and the agonist and antagonist. All these ones, you have seen them somewhere, but you have to repeat them so that you can be able to understand them better in a tabular perspective. So you have the 5-HT2 as the three subtypes like 5-HT1A, 5-HT2B, and 5-HT2C. That is serotonin 2A, serotonin 2B, and serotonin 2C, 2B and 2C. So in serotonin 2A, the effect, its effect, the receptors, these receptors in this class, the effect and functions is on CNS, CNS where it causes anxiety, imagination, learning, and perception, smooth muscles contraction and heart rate aggregations. So it has restrictively got in the carotid. So it is its agonist is been and its antagonist is aliprazole, clozomin, and ondansetrazole and trazodone. So 5-HT2, that is serotonin 2B effects and functions. It is CNS where it causes the anxiety and GIT motility. And the agonist is nalfurtamine, and the antagonist is agomelatine. So serotonin 2C, it is associated with the CME, it interferes with mood, sleep, and anxiety, and there is no known agonist, but there is antagonist known in it like clozapine and olanzapine. So serotonin 3T receptors, with the exception of serotonin T3 receptors, a ligand-gated ion channel or other serotonin receptors are G protein coupled receptors that activate an intracellular second messenger cascade to use an extra body and inherently respond. So the serotonin 3 receptors antagonist suppresses vomiting, and this is the reason why these drugs are used in emotions, movements, because the chemical triggers in the center and immunity easier because by binding to the serotonin, binding to the serotonin 3 receptors. So then we have serotonin 4 receptors, which is found in the CNS and the mesenteric neurons, and the carotene, which is a blood like Resola developed by Johnson and Johnson is a drug acting as a selective affinity for serotonin T4 receptor agonist, which targets the impaired motility and associated with chronic constipations, thus minimizing power of movement. So serotonin 5 is pharmacological functions of these receptors are not well explained, and based on their organization, it has been suggested that they may be involved in motor control, anxiety, learning, adaptive behavior, and also brain development. So that is serotonin 5. So about serotonin 6, the exact clinical significance of these receptors being very unclear, and that means selective antagonists of this type of serotonin receptors have an impact on behavior and seem to improve the spatial memory of so the study has not gone into the animals. So there is a gap for people to do more studies so that they can be able to understand serotonin 6. So serotonin 7 is expressed in the vaso and are responsible for persistent vasodilatations and also explain the CNS and the smooth muscles in the GIT and also smooth the kid. So at this point, you can see that serotonin 5-7 works against the around process vasoconstrictions. So the acute inflammation, remember there is the stage where there is persistent vasodilatations after transient vasoconstriction. This one is at that point. So let us see a condition called serotonin syndrome. This is where there is high production of serotonin in the body, causing a condition known as serotonin syndrome, which is very toxic and potentially it can cause death. So the drugs used to use to treat syndrome and the drugs used to in this one, there is non-specific drugs. And you know that whenever there is non-specific drug, these type of drugs also always are content assigned somewhere else of which you should do. So that specific broken agent is like imidazoline, cyclone, cyproheptadine, cyproheptadine. Then you also can use beta blockers like propranolol, beta blockers like propranolol, and also you can use benzodiazepines like diazepam, and clonazepam. So in our setup, the most commonly used drug in this class of diazepam is the diazepam. So in the management of migraine, that is where you use Serotonin T1 agonist such as somatropin, and the first line treatment for severe migraine and on headache. Many other different drugs are also used in the management of just conditions of migraine. Like for example, you can also prescribe propranolol. You can also prescribe monoclonic acid, and also can prescribe steroid anti-inflammatory drug. For example, aspirin, you can prescribe also an example of steroid and inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen, also can help to control pain of migraine. The other is about vomit, where you use serotonin T, where you use serotonin receptors and anticipated neurotic reflex, and the particular importance in vomit caused by cancer drugs. And an example is ondansetron in the protopeptic 550B antagonist commonly used to the hyperemesis gravidarum. So this drug is commonly prescribed in hyperemesis gravidarum, that is a pregnancy associated type of vomit. So another important is that in the prevention of nausea and vomiting assisted with surgery and cancer type of therapy, we also use this type of drug for this drug. So the other one is in depression, a class of drugs such as fluoxetamine or sertraline that inhibit the uptake of serotonin by neurons of the CNS are primarily used in the treatment of depression and obsessive compulsive disorders known as SSRIs. So a few of these are citalopram and also fluoxetamine and also sertraline, which the most common one used in these type of conditions. And up to that point, that is the end of today's lecture about serotonin, which is given as 550. And you can see various type of drug. That is a topic about AUTOCOIDS. And next time we'll talk about prostaglandins, and that's a product of AUTOCOIDS. Thank you very much for listening for this lecture.